Hello, gorgeous people. How are we doing? Huge welcome to day 5. I am really excited about today. I hope you are too. We're going to be covering lots more amazing stuff, as well as having a bit of a. Did you hear that? I had a notification come up on my phone. It made a weird noise. As well as having a bit of a recap of everything we've gone through this week. We will also be finishing with a little meditation, visualization to help you really embody that self-healer aspect of you. So it's quite a packed session today. So I hope you are ready. But before we begin, hi Natalie, lovely. I am so pleased you've enjoyed this week. And I'm looking forward to today. It's been gorgeous to have you with me. Although we are at the end of the 5 days, or coming to the end of the 5 days, I've still got lots more coming up for you. So don't worry for the moment. What I'm thinking is on Monday we can do a live Q&A session with me, so I can answer any of the questions that have come up for you this week. Any questions in relation to menopause, Ayurveda, my program, anything that you want some clarity on. I will be showing up here live on Monday and answering exactly what you need me to. So I will put details about that in the group later on today and send out an email just as a reminder. So hi Melanie, lovely to have you here as always. Hi Joe, fab to have you here. Nikki, hi strong ladies. Yeah, I'm loving that. Hi Kerry, fab to have you here. Wow, it's wonderful to have so many gorgeous women sharing this experience with me. So thank you so much. So just a reminder, we've also got the prize draw coming up next week. So if you want to be in for a chance to win the prize draw, 2 ways you can do that. One is to share the post that's on my business page on Facebook, which is about this event. So you may have already done that. And the other way is to like and comment on all of the training videos for this week. So day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then what I will do is put a little post in the group Tuesday morning and say, who's done this? And then I will double check and then pop your names into a hat and do a live prize draw with you all next Tuesday for the opportunity to win some gorgeous prizes. Just as a little thank you from me for showing up for you. Wow, struggling to get my words out today. Showing up for you, showing up for me, and sharing this experience together, which I really hope you've enjoyed. I know I've had a gorgeous week with you all. So, like I say, we've got lots to dive into today, so I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to crack straight on, although I have a sip of my tea. And what's everyone drinking today? I've gone for good old-fashioned English breakfast tea today. And I've constantly had hot drinks. And before I went live, I thought, oh my God, I haven't been to the loo. So I'm hoping that I manage to stay with you all during this time. Hi, Louise. Lovely. Fabulous to have you here. Hope you are doing okay. Oh, Yogi Choco Tea. Oh, I have had that one before, actually. I found the texture a bit odd. Let me know. Did you find the texture a bit odd? Because it's not quite like hot chocolatey texture, but it's not quite like a texture of a tea either. That may just be me. Orange juice, not been up, tiring week. Oh, sending love, hun. Hope you are doing okay. Who was that? Louise. Sending you love. And yeah, vitamin C. That's hopefully going to do some good. Hot water. Oh, There's a delay on my comments on my phone. Kerry's on the hot water. So let's have a bit of a recap of everything we've covered this week, because we have covered an enormous amount actually in 5 days. So I wanted to remind you of how the different patterns that can show up in our nervous system and what they look like in a healthy state and an unhealthy state. And when we identify we've got excess going on, what we need to do to bring us back to balance, or some of the things we can do to bring us back to balance. So we all need this fire pitta energy. This is the energy that keeps us feeling passionate, that brings out our leadership, our inner leadership. So whether that's leading others or leading ourselves, taking ownership for everything that's going on for us. It's what keeps us motivated. It's that thing that gives us our spring in our step when we wake up in the morning and feel excited about the day ahead. It's what makes sure that we actively go out and get the support that we need. So whether that's in relation to our health or in relation to anything going on for us in our lives. And it allows us to feel inspired. And with that comes this inspiring presence about us, and allows our energy to be charismatic. So other people will warm to you when you have a healthy balance of pitta energy. But when it gets out of hand, when it goes into excess, this is when we can find that we get frustrated, impatient, hangry, or just angry. So for me, sometimes this will come up as being a bit snappy, being impatient with the kids, or being cynical. Being cynical is another one that really comes up for me when I notice my pittas in excess. I feel like I've lost faith in other people or the world. And I really struggled, I'll be honest. I struggled with this a couple of weeks ago when the news broke about Ukraine and Russia. I found that I just felt so angry that in 2022, these things are still going on. So I had to really work with this energy. And we can be really judgmental of ourselves and other people. So we start to beat ourselves up. We pile the pressure on. We feel like we're not good enough. And it leads to this feeling of burnout. I'm just seeing the comment about the texture of that tea, that yogi tea. But you like it. I'm glad you like it, lovely. So when we are in this state of excess pitta, we fall into judgment of others, which is ultimately coming from a place of judgment of ourselves. This feeling of, I'm not good enough, I should be better. This perfection mentality, this kind of striving to be something that's not human, to go beyond the realms of being human. We want to be this just perfect soul all the time, and it's not possible. So the ultimate remedy to this is coming back to a place of self-love, self-compassion, self-understanding, from a place of really nurturing who we are rather than piling on more, piling on the pressure. The irony is when we're in excess in any of these, we tend to gravitate towards the things that will take us further out of balance. So I know that when my pitta is in overdrive, I will become a bit addicted to that adrenaline behind it. And so I will want to take on more. I'll want to do more. I won't want to stop. I won't want to rest. So we have to be quite disciplined with our self-love and self-compassion, and that's slowing down. Then we can see what healthy vata looks like, or which is the element of air. or it's mainly the element of air. And this is what gives us that creativity. It connects us with our ideas, that feeling of flow. We'll know when Vata's in a really good state because things feel easy. It's like we're just flowing through life. We can feel like we're constantly inspired by life. There's things we're interested in. There's things we want to discover. We may be reading and educating ourselves and communicating this to others. There's this feeling of having a vision, of knowing where we're going, of knowing what we may want to create in our lives. And we feel really connected, not just to the people around us, but to everything that's bigger than us. So we feel very connected to Source, to our spiritual side, to our intuitive nature. But then when it goes into excess, all our energy ends up in our head or above our head. So we can feel like we're away with the fairies, where our mind is going so fast that we feel like the world is spinning so fast and we just want to get off. We can feel overwhelmed, anxious, and we can find ourselves waking up between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. This is the time when Vata is higher naturally. And so this often manifests in anxiety dreams or just waking up and not sure why we've woken up, but finding it difficult to get back to sleep again. And when we're in this state of overwhelm, making decisions feels impossible because we overthink it all. So things that should be a no-brainer all of a sudden seem really difficult. Even things like choosing something from a menu or what to buy in the supermarket or what to make for dinner. Some really simple things can feel really huge or really frustrating and we don't know. It feels impossible to focus, so we can't concentrate. Our mind is jumping from the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, but never really sorting any of it out. It's just constantly jumping around. And this can come through into the body. So like just being able to sit still and slow down and just connect with our breath can feel impossible. And it creates this fear mindset where we're in a constant state of feeling like the world is happening to us, like we've got no control, like life is working against us, or that there's always something around the corner or things are always going to go wrong. We can create beliefs around this. So, and the honest truth is this fear stands in our way of our natural right to abundance. We can block ourselves from creating the life we want to create, and this fear becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, and we all know it, don't we? If someone's in a needy, clingy, scarcity energy, it's really off-putting and it can kind of push us away. People withdraw from you. So, if you're scared of being alone, all of a sudden people are withdrawing from you because your energy is so in that scarcity. Hi, Vicky, lovely to have you here. So it can actually end up creating the things that you were scared of in the first place. So, and then that just reinforces the belief that was going on for you around, life working against you or life happening to you as opposed to life happening for you. So there's a couple of things here that will really start to shift this. The first one is gratitude. And like I mentioned, I'm not a big fan of a gratitude list just because I've seen with clients that often when people do a list, it turns into a tick box exercise. It turns into just creating a shopping list. But actually, the medicine from gratitude comes from feeling it, from experiencing it in the body, that feeling where it's in every cell, and we just have that overwhelming feeling of how lucky am I? So having a gratitude practice where you really embody the gratitude, where you really feel into it as opposed to just write it out, is really going to serve you. And the second thing is to feel the fear and do it anyway. Often we will create these massive monsters under the bed that actually, if we just took a moment to look under the bed, we would see they're not there. And sometimes we just need to do something to scare ourselves, something that feels exciting, but it's going to take us outside of our comfort zone. So we can actually see that actually nothing bad is going to happen. We can actually prove to ourselves that the beliefs we've been holding on to are wrong. And then we talked about the energy of earth, copper. And this is the beautiful energy that keeps us feeling grounded, connected, stable. It allows us to be loving and nurturing towards ourselves and towards others. We can find that we feel just calm, able to cope with chaos. And I always think of Kaffa is like a woodland to me. It reminds me of like a big, strong oak tree. We're really rooted into the ground. And no matter what's going on around it, it stands tall and it's calm and collected. There's a really beautiful energy when I go for a walk in the woods. It's one of my favorite places to walk because I really feel this Kaffa energy. It really grounds me into the earth. But when it's in excess, it can leave us feeling heavy, feeling low, feeling like our body, our mind is stagnant. We can feel shut down from things, like our emotional responses can be really numb. So it's really difficult to experience those higher vibrational frequencies of things like love and joy and gratitude and those things that rise us up. We can find our mind it feels like wading through treacle. Like everything is really difficult, really sluggish, really slow. We can find ourselves falling into that victim mentality where, again, it feels like life is happening against us as opposed to it working for us. And acknowledging that, everything in this universe is happening for our own benefit. And we can find ourselves stuck in the past. So, it's interesting actually. With Kapha energy, we find ourselves a lot of the time constantly thinking about things that have gone on, feeling sorry for ourselves, feeling like a victim, feeling like no one else gets us, no one else understands. But actually, when we're in excess in Vata energy, we're very future focused, but worrying about things that may never happen. So they're kind of polar opposites in that respect. And generally, just life can make us feel stuck, like we can't move forward, like we can't let go of the past, like we can't let go of, anything that's gone wrong in our lives. And just find ourselves going back over those things time and time and time again. And the outcome of this excess in the nervous system is depression. It can, and it can be really difficult to pull ourselves out at that stage once it's gone into that, all the way down into depression, where this energy has been in excess for so long. So ultimately, what we want to do is start moving this energy around. And one of the ways to do this is through movement. So physical movement in the body will certainly help. But as I mentioned, I also know how difficult it is when you're in that stage of excess kapha. To find the motivation to actually start moving your body can feel like the most difficult thing in the world. So one other way we can do this without physically moving is finding ways to light up our soul. So this is where we did the practice of that journaling, where we really tap into those soul answers, because from that soul answer exercise, you will find there's an energy behind it. There's a passion behind it. There's purpose. And that's the thing that we can sometimes feel like we're lacking when we're in excess in kapha. It's a bit like, what's the point? I can't be bothered. There's no reason to. Whereas actually when we can tap into those soul answers, that source, through exercises like journaling, then we really start to notice that energy moving around the body, that fire coming back in our belly. So, sorry, I'm just reading the comments. I've come to realize that fear is my guide to the steps I need to take to move forward. It's so freeing. Completely relate to that, Joe. I made a decision a few years ago where I used to push away fear. And I had this really unhealthy relationship with fear. I would suppress it. I would do what I could to numb it whenever I was feeling anxious. I would perhaps overeat. I would also drink too much wine. I would do all of the things that weren't healthy. And it was one of the things that really flipped it for me, was to make friends with my fear. And actually now, especially as someone that runs their own business, and, like even this initially coming into a space where I'd have to share information with people would scare the hell out of me. But I realized the more I did those things, the less the fear was there. And actually, I know now where fear shows up in my life is my next challenge. It's my next mission to actually do those things, so I can feel the fear and do it anyway. So I love that. Who said, so Louise, you're struggling with kapha energy, and Nikki, you seem to have an accessible 3, and that is perfectly possible, lovely. Sometimes what happens is we go into excess in one of them, and then our body has this way of trying to remedy that. So I'll give you an example. When before I developed rheumatoid arthritis, the reason I developed rheumatoid arthritis, and I can see very clearly now, was I was in excess in pitta. I was overworking, I was go, 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 I was very disciplined, I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, really hard on myself, used to beat myself up constantly. And the thing is, people would never have known this. It was all going on internally for me. And then this manifested in the body through an inflammation condition. So inflammation, if we think what inflammation is, it's a fiery response in the body. But then my body tried to overcompensate for this. So it tried to bring itself back into balance. So what happened then was I then went into excess in kapha energy. So my body knew I needed to slow down. So kapha energy came on board to help and support me, to bring in this loving, calm, grounding energy. But then that went into excess. So I felt very depressed. I didn't want to do anything. I was really low, feeling really sorry for myself, feeling very much like a victim. in poor me mentality, the whole kind of this shouldn't be happening to me. I'm only 30. Why have I got this? No one else in my family's got it. I've always looked after myself. All of these things were going on. And so I had to, and we'll go into the strategy of Ayurveda a bit more in a moment, but I had to bring that back slowly. So I had to deal with the kapha energy. And then once I dealt with the kapha energy, then I could bring back keeping my pitta in balance. The likelihood is there'll be one of these that you're more likely to go into out of balance in, that you're more prone to. One or two. So for me, I'm more prone to go out of balance in pitta or vata. And then when I've gone into excess in those, I'm likely to see an excess in kapha. I don't know if that's making sense, but just to put hopefully a bit of understanding behind why you may be out of balance in all three. So just a reminder that our nervous system is affected by so much. So we can do these practices all we like, but if we're eating the wrong food for our body type, if we're not addressing past traumas, if we're not listening to our body, if we're living the wrong lifestyle for our own unique body, mind makeup, if we're taking medication, drugs, alcohol, stimulants, herbs that are not supportive of what our body needs at this time, if we're not working with the time of year, our time of life, if our digestive system is out of whack, if we're in unhealthy relationships or have unhealthy boundaries, or in an unhealthy environment. So that can be physically unhealthy, as in filled with toxins, or, unhealthy as in the people surrounding you. And if we're already out of balance in our body, our nervous system will likely show the result of that. Or even doing the wrong type of exercise for your body type, or how frequently you're exercising. I will often find, like my pitta clients will come to me and they're doing just far too much high intensity exercise, or for too long or too frequently. So we will often think to be healthy, like I say, and I made all these mistakes, that to be healthy, we have to be eating a load of vegetables and doing a load of exercise and getting a load of sleep. But actually, all of those things are unique to us. So there's no such thing as healthy exercise or healthy food for everyone. You have to work with your body type. And realistically, although working with the nervous system is going to help in the majority of the menopause symptoms, so, if you're experiencing fatigue, disturbed sleep, dry skin, hair, nails, frequent UTIs, hot flushes, brain fog, weight gain, heavy bleeding, night sweats, loss of libido, also loss of identity, which I haven't put on there, but it's a huge one, vaginal dryness, and that kind of feeling disconnected from your sensuality. Working with the nervous system will help in your recovery with all of these things, but it can't fix them on its own. So I don't want to sit here and say, just do these practices, your menopause is going to be easy, because that's not the case. So just to clarify that. So I did promise you the full strategy for rebalancing through menopause. And the good thing is, this strategy is what we apply through every kind of issue that our body will experience. We need to go through these steps, apart from step 5, potentially. So step 1 is really understanding about where you are now and what is your natural state of being. So where you are now is your Vikriti, and your natural state of being is your Prakriti. And we need to understand these two things, because we need to understand how far away we are from our natural state of balance. So this will look at everything from, to work these things out, we look at everything. So we will look at how your mind works, how your body works, the size of your bones, how quickly your blood moves around your body. There's a whole host of different ways that we can work out what is your natural state, your body type, and where you currently are. And then we want to start bringing you back in line with your natural state of being. Christine, don't worry, lovely. Lovely to have you here. And then step 2 is we have to restore and rebalance the nervous system. So this is what we've done this week. We started to look at how we can bring that back into balance, what we need to do. And there's so many different ways we can do this. You know, we've just touched on a few different techniques this week. Some of my favorite practices are also using meditations, mantras, chanting, visualizations, hypnotherapy. There's so many different ways that we can look at restoring, rebalancing our nervous system. But like I've said in that slide earlier, we also have to consider everything else that's going on for you and how that is going to be affecting your nervous system. So the relationships that you've got going on, whether the level of stress in your life is appropriate for your mind body type. So like I mentioned before, I have what some people would consider too much stress, but actually I need that level of uncertainty. I need that level of adrenaline in my life. Bear with me, I'm getting comfy here. So you have to work with who you are when it comes to your nervous system. But I will also have people that come to me and say, oh, I don't cope well with stress. And actually, when we look at it, it's because they've never been taught how to cope with stress. So they've always suppressed it, or they've numbed it out, or they've avoided it. Or it could be the fact that they just don't like having difficult conversations because they've never been taught it's okay to state your boundaries, and it's okay to tell people what you want and need. And it's okay to then make difficult decisions around whether that person or that thing or that situation should continue to be in your life if it's not supporting you. So our nervous system, although we've looked at it this week, and I purposely tried to choose the most powerful practices that will really help you. We do need to look at it all. We do need to look at the whole. Then we need to look at our gut. And in Ayurveda, the idea is that, well, there's kind of two different thoughts behind this, because it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. But all disease starts in either the mind or the gut. And the reason it's chicken and egg is because when our gut's out of balance, it affects our mind. And when our mind is out of balance, it affects our gut. So we need to work with these two simultaneously. But the idea is, if your digestive fire, so if we think of this on a physical level, so your digestive fire in your gut is not digesting food effectively. So if it's burning too high, it will be burning away all the nutrients. If it's not high enough, you're not going to be taking out the nutrients you need. So it's really important that we have that gut system working properly. When it doesn't work properly, what happens is it creates dis-ease in the body. And that body, that dis-ease then moves out into what we would call the disease pathways in Ayurveda. And we don't have time to go into that in like a lot of detail today. But this is why getting our gut health right is so important. And what I don't mean here, a lot of the time when you say gut health, people think just take a probiotic. No, that's not what I'm talking about at all. Yes, probiotics can certainly help and support your gut health, but they're not a magic pill. Your gut is affected by a number of different things. So the food you're putting into your body, what your state of stress and mind, and what's going on with the mind, as well as a whole host of other things. And our digestive fire is also our ability to digest our emotions and our experience. So these two interplay with each other. If we're not digesting, you will find that if your gut health is off, you're unable to digest your emotions and experiences as well. So that then creates what we would call armor. And armor is like toxic buildup. So this happens on a physical level. So this in the body, your body may hold on to toxins from food, from things in your environment, from just retaining water, retaining fat. But it also will retain what we would perhaps term in the West is emotional baggage. So step 4 is about releasing that armor. So releasing those toxins in the body. We go through a cleansing process. And when I say a cleansing process, I don't mean like a juice cleanse. I don't mean depriving yourself of food. An Ayurvedic cleanse is far more supportive. And what it does is it goes through at least a 4-week phase, so that we, first of all, get our body in a state where it's able to start to cleanse. And then after the cleanse process, it's equally important that you ease yourself back into being able to consume things that are outside of the cleanse protocol, because otherwise your body won't be able to reestablish. So please don't think that this is just go on a juice cleanse for a week. That's not how it works. And then in stage 5, so I appreciate it may seem like a lot, but then in stage 5, we can begin to balance the hormones. We need to get stages 1 to 4 done first, because these are the foundations. Because if we try and balance the hormones initially and just say, take this supplement, it's good for balancing your hormones. I have a lot of people that come to me and go, yeah, but I'm taking ashwagandha or I'm taking shatavari and I'm not seeing a difference. And it's because they haven't done the stages 1 to 4 first. So you will not be able to balance your hormones without making sure that you're working towards coming back to your original state of being by ensuring that you're rebalancing your nervous system, that your digestive fire is working to capacity, and that you've released the toxic buildup in the system. Once you've done those, you've got the foundations in place, and these foundations you can come back to time and time and time again whenever you start to notice any kind of imbalance in the body. So before we move on, and time is ticking on, I knew I was being ambitious today, trying to cover a lot. What's your initial thoughts as you look through the Ayurvedic strategy for finding balance in menopause? As you type in your thoughts, the thing is, what a lot of people will say to me as I go through this with them is, that seems like a lot. I don't think I can do that. I don't know if I can make that happen. Can you go through this process if you're on HRT? Yeah, of course you can, lovely. this process can be used for everything going on in your body. Stages 1 to 4 is what we will certainly look at with any kind of autoimmune, any gut issue, anything that started to move into the disease pathways. Then these are the foundations we always come back to. So HRT or not, you will see that balance. And this is going to be especially good if at any stage you want to come off that HRT, you're not going to be resting on your estrogen. The thing is with estrogen is it hides a multitude of sins in the body. And I don't mean that as in you're doing something bad or wrong. But estrogen covers up a lot of problems. And this is why we can feel like we were in a balanced state before menopause. But then once the hormones start changing, it basically lifts away everything that was being covered up by the hormones. So actually, if at any point you feel like you want to come off the HRT, this will certainly support you to do that, because you can go into that knowing that you've got all the foundations in place. Someone else said, you never realized how important the gut was until recently. Yeah. And the gut is generally one of the first places that will show an imbalance. So I look back to when my arthritis was before it even formed, and my gut was all over the place. I was having all sorts of digestive symptoms. So the thing is, we normalize a lot of these because they've become so normal because of the way that we live our lives. But the thing is, if you're experiencing acid indigestion, bloating, erratic bowel movements. So what I mean by erratic, I mean, it doesn't have to be like 50 times a day, but you know, if you're not passing stools regularly, or if one day you might have diarrhea and the next day you've got constipation, or if you've got ongoing constipation or ongoing diarrhea, or if you get those symptoms without there being a specific cause, then your body is out of balance. There is something going on. This is the niggle that I was talking about when I say we address the niggles. We don't wait for it to go into the disease pathways. In Ayurveda, there is 7 different stages before we would even recognize it in the West. So we have 7 different stages in Ayurveda that come before a disease or a condition. Whereas in the West, we're like, it doesn't get treated until it's a disease or a condition, unless it's like an infection or a virus. Joe, you need to address gut health, balance for sure. Sounds really interesting and makes a lot of sense. It does make so much sense, lovely. I try to do all of this, but not in an ordered and structured way. Yes, and that's where having a consistent strategy is certainly going to help you, lovely. And also working, even if not me, working with someone who can support you with that. Because what I found through my journey was we think we're doing all the right things. But sometimes someone looking in at ourselves, at us, get my grammar right there, are able to see things we're not. Because like I say, we can normalize so much. I tried HRT and it made me worse. But to be fair, I only tried it for a week and my sleep was terrible. So stop. Still have a lot of symptoms though. Yeah. And people will react differently to HRT. Not everyone's able to have it. It's not something I'm able to have. I can't have even the hormones that are supposed to be not synthetic, I react to. So it's not something I'm able to use. Joe, I've noticed that my hot flushes are around the times I need to eat and have eaten, which would make sense, lovely, because that's when pitta is likely to be higher. It's when your digestive fire is working. So it sounds like there's a pitta imbalance going on there. Yeah, estrogen does hide what is already going on. Estrogen is a bit like a magic pill. It is wonderful at disguising things that are going on in our body. So if you're experiencing problems in menopause, it's not because of menopause, it's because your body was already out of balance, and the disruption in hormones has revealed an imbalance that was already there, lovely. So yeah, hormones are fabulous in a way. HRT saved your life after trying all the herbal remedies. I can imagine, lovely. And this is where often we will apply things like Ayurveda in the West as if it was Western medicine. Ayurveda doesn't work like Western medicine. So in the West, you have a symptom, you take a pill for it. Ayurveda doesn't do that. It shouldn't be used for that. If you want Ayurveda to work, so if you want to use Ayurvedic herbs, fabulous. But Ayurvedic herbs should be used for the root of the issue and not the symptom. We can't apply Ayurveda with a Western mentality. So we can't just say, here's a herb that's really good for headaches. No. In Ayurveda, we go, okay, you've got a headache. Why is that? And we get to the root. And then if we're using herbs, it's to address that root problem as opposed to a headache. I hope that makes sense. HRT, I think you're supposed to give it 3 months, but it made me really ragey, sicky, thought I can't do this for 3 months. And like I say, everyone's different, lovely. And I'm not anti-HRT. Please don't think I'm anti-HRT. If you personally want to use HRT and find it works for you, do it. What I am is pro women having a choice that allows them to feel balanced all around, because HRT will only sort out so much. What I love about Ayurveda was it didn't just give me an answer for rheumatoid arthritis. It gave me an answer for feeling healthy and balanced, and a strategy to come back to when I felt out of balance that works time and time again. I've been thinking of trying some hypnotherapy. Therapy has been really useful for lots of things. Yeah, hypnotherapy is fabulous. I think hypnotherapy is great. It depends what you're using it for, lovely. Okay. So just a reminder then that the Ayurvedic strategy, whenever I'm applying this Ayurvedic strategy, is also so important that we combine these 3 elements together. So the 3 elements being the Ayurvedic wisdom, or the strategy we're using, the health strategy. The second one is understanding our body. So understanding, and this goes beyond understanding your mind-body type. This is about understanding how your body is responding to things, understanding where you have a tendency to self-sabotage, understanding why you might do that, understanding where you've got traumas that you're holding on to, understanding why you believe certain things or why you behave in certain ways. All of these things are really important to understand when we're healing, because it will affect your healing if you don't understand who you are. There's only so much you can just apply a strategy. But if you're not doing what's right for you, then it won't work. And then the other thing is adopting the self-healer mindset. And the self-healer mindset, as we've mentioned before, is about being radically honest and taking radical responsibility for our own health and well-being. Like I say, that this is so important. At the beginning of my health journey, I was putting the ownership on everyone else to fix me. It was like the doctors, just give me the answers. When I remember even when I went into Ayurveda, I was just like, tell me what I need to do. Just tell me and I will do it. And just give me all the things. And but there was no responsibility from me to really take ownership for this. It's about having a holistic strategy, because the thing is, if we're just addressing symptoms, it's a bit like when you've got a weed and you're just cutting off the head of the weed. You can address one symptom, but if you don't sort out the root of the problem, then basically another weed is going to grow back in its place. So you may sort out the headache, and then this other thing will pop up. You may sort out the skin issue, and then this will pop up. You may sort out your bowel problems, and then this thing will pop up. So it's really important we find a holistic approach that gets to the root of the matter, and then use a strategy that's going to address that. The self-healer knows who they are. They know their body, they know their mind, they know how to work with it and not against it. So this comes back to, I gave the example of how I've got this beautiful, rebellious inner child in me. So if someone tells me I can't have things, that is all I'm going to crave. That's all I'm going to want. The times that I've been on a diet, or like this one time I went on a diet because like a load of people I work with were all going to this Weight Watchers thing. I probably shouldn't use their name, whoops. A diet club. This is going back years. And I was the only person out of the group that actually put on weight because you tell me I can't have something, it's all I'm going to want. And I would self-sabotage, and I would give myself too much of things that weren't good for me. So I have to work with that. I don't try and suppress my rebellious inner child. I love my rebellious inner child. She is keeping me safe, and she's making sure that I don't become too boring and disciplined. That's the role she takes on for me. So I have to work with her. So this goes beyond just working with our body type. It's about understanding all those different parts of us and how to work with them and not against them. Know that when you say yes to what you want and need, it supports others around you. This was a big thing for me. I never used to invest anything in me. It was all about looking after everyone else, and I had to learn the hard way. But it's the self-healer. We know that it's rubbish, and we can only support those around us when we're saying yes to our needs and our wants. And I figured out quite early on that being the self-healer, I had to get the support. I couldn't do it on my own. As much as I tried and I read the books and I did the courses, I needed someone that was going to help me understand how this related to my body and what it was experiencing. And then from that place, I could then act on the niggles. So I didn't develop any further diseases. By gosh, I'd already developed 3 by that point, as well as had other health issues, despite thinking I'd been living quite healthily. So Oh my gosh, time is ticking on. How is everyone doing for time? I was going to do a little visualization, but it'll probably take us over by about 5-10 minutes. Let me know if that's going to work for you all. If not, perhaps you can catch the rest on replay. Christine, you've been asking your doctor for body identical progesterone, but I felt forced to have the others and it's caused more anxiety. Yeah, it's difficult, lovely. And I won't say, I'm very grateful for the support I've had from Western medicine. Very grateful. I also know that a lot of the time in the West, hands are tied around budgets, around the time they have. The majority of my clients, I did a thing the other day, and I think it was like nearly 60% of my clients actually work for the NHS as nurses or what do you call them? People that train nurses, nurse lecturers. I don't know. I've got two clients actually who actually train nurses. So, in my view, Western medicine has its limitations. One, because we spent a long time working from a allopathic point of view, but also the way our system's set up doesn't really support healing, in my personal view. Nurses don't have the time, doctors don't have the time, and they don't have the resources. So but they also do a fabulous job. And so grateful. Okay, I'm loving it. Okay, so people are saying this makes sense. 10 minutes over. And as and when you're ready, taking a moment to come back to that breath in the belly, that gentle rise and fall. And noticing how that rhythm is for you in this moment. Whether it's fast or slow, steady or creating a melody of its own. More deep or more shallow, more light. Remembering that neither one of these is better than the other. I invite you now to bring your attention to the area of the third eye. And just breathing into this space. And imagining with each breath you take in, the energy in this area of the body builds. Maybe imagining it as a beautiful golden light. And with each breath you take in, that energy gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Until eventually this light bursts out in front of you, creating a tunnel. A tunnel of light which you begin to walk through. You may just imagine, you may sense, you may feel this tunnel, you may see, you may not experience any of these things, but just know this tunnel is in front of you as you begin to walk through, coming to a door at the other end. And take a moment to notice how this door looks. What colour is it? What's it made from? As you reach out and take the handle and open up, and as you step through, you step into a beautiful meadow filled with flowers all around you. You may take a moment to notice what types of flowers are here, the texture of them, the colours, taking it all in as you begin to walk through this meadow. And up ahead of you, you see a path that leads into a woodland. As you catch up to the path, you start to follow it. And as you enter this woodland, you see beautiful big trees either side of you, soaring up into the sky. As you follow this path, as it moves round these trees, deeper into the forest. And up ahead of you, you see wood smoke coming from the top of the trees, and you begin to follow the smoke, trying to find out where it's coming from. Weaving along the path. And eventually you turn around a corner, following this smoke, and it opens out to a clearing in the center of the woods. And there is a bonfire in the middle, and sat round this bonfire are many different versions of you. You see your inner child sat there. You see your creative side, the adventurer within you, the student, the teacher. Take a moment to just take in all of these different parts of you. Many, many, many different sides to who you are. Noticing who's sat here. What other parts of you are sat around the bonfire? And eventually one of these parts of you invites you to sit down next to her. And you look at her with her knowing eyes, and you realize it's your inner self healer. This wise woman that sat next to you. And she says to you she's going to give you some advice about your next step of your self-healing journey. She's going to tell you exactly what you need to know. Allow those words to flow into you now. What wisdom is she sharing with you? What is going to help you on the next step of your journey? This part of you that knows that you don't have to tolerate that lack of energy, disturbed sleep, or physical symptoms that come up for you. That part of you that knows that you deserve to feel vitality, to feel like the best version of you. What does she tell you is your next step? What do you need to do? And you take this wisdom and you put it deep into your heart space, knowing you can access this anytime you need. She gives you a warm embrace, tells you you've got this. You can make this happen. As you stand up and say farewell to all of these different parts of you, knowing you can come back and access and talk to them anytime you need to. And you start to make your way back through the forest, onto the path, leading you back into that meadow. Perhaps taking a moment to reach out and touch the flowers as you move closer to the door. And you open that door and walk back through the tunnel, back into your body. And before opening your eyes, taking a moment to check in with that wisdom. You may not have initially understood what she'd said or heard her words, but taking a moment now, placing your hand on your heart space. What's my next step on this self-healing journey? Allow that wisdom to come through to you now. And as and when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes, coming back into the outside world. So lovelies. I haven't really had a chance to go through everything I wanted to with you today, but that is okay. What I will invite you to do is, if you do want to take your next step on your self-healing journey with me, I would be honoured. I would absolutely love to work with you. The waitlist for my new program, Perimenopause and Menopause program, is open now. If you join the waitlist, you get first access. Doors will open to the waitlist on Sunday, which means that you get first access to the early bird discount, as well as some special bonuses, including one that's limited to the first 20 people that join me. That bonus is an in-person retreat day with me, with additional spa facilities, so we can really indulge and celebrate the journey of self-healing that you would have gone through on this program together. During my program, we go through that full strategy. You have weekly trainings. You have my support every step of the way. You get a one-to-one session with me. We have weekly calls as a group to check in with how everyone's doing. I can promise you, you will make lifelong friendships with the women you will share this journey with, because it's impossible not to be so invested in each other's well-being once you've been through this journey together. It's going to be a fabulous process, experience, and it will lead you to a place of self-healing and having the tools and strategies that you can come back to time and time again. So in today's email, there'll be a link again to the waitlist. You're welcome to join that and get first access. You also have another visualization in that email from me today. I cannot talk after that visualization. I'm still in the forest, I think. And this weekend, I will also be sharing in this group some interviews with some fabulous self-healing women who I've worked with, to tell you a little bit about their stories and how they've found their journeys. Because I think there's, I can talk to you about these things, but it's really important to hear someone who's been through it. So both tomorrow and Sunday, there will be an interview in this group with self-healer women. And on Monday, I will be doing a live Q&A to answer all your questions. So whether that's about the program or about menopause, about any symptoms you're experiencing, about the Ayurvedic strategy, about anything we've covered around the nervous system, you are very welcome to come along and post those questions. And if you can't make it live, drop me a note and I'll make sure I cover it. So let me have a look at your comments. Joe, the visualization was so moving. Fantastic visualization. I'm a reader, a drummer, a dancing fox who knows she needs to love all the skins she's in. Thanks so much. I have to dash, no problem. Lovely. I so hope you've enjoyed this week. Lots of people saying they enjoyed it. Will there be more detailed information about the program entails and the cost? Will be before the list opens on Monday. So to those that sign up to the wait list, you will get first access to the page, which will explain everything. On that page, it tells you exactly what we cover, how it's set out, how much. It also has a little tour of the course program, so you can see all the information you will have available to you. Because on top of the trainings in that course, you also have a huge bank of resources, which you will have lifetime access to. So that includes everything from meditations to recipes to how to find effective Abhyanga self-massage for your system, other self-care practices, self-care recipes, herbal wisdom. There's so much, honestly, so much. I've made it my mission to give you everything you could ever possibly need, not only now, but for the rest of your health journey. That's my intention. The thing is, with my journey, I had to spend tens of thousands of pounds to get this level of knowledge, support, and resources. And I didn't want other people to have to go through that process of struggle, trying to figure it all out. So I've created this program so that you've got it all there, everything you could ever possibly need, and the support of a community, because there's huge power in sharing your journey with others. I cannot underestimate that enough. Honestly, I think there's so much medicine in when you're doing this with other people who get it. Because I don't know if you're in the similar boat, but when I was struggling with my health, people didn't really get it around me because they weren't experiencing it, and why would they? So actually having people I could share it with was perfect. So what's the duration of the course? 6 months. So 6 months, and we go through that full strategy together, everything that I talked you through today, but with someone holding your hand all the way. Okay, lovelies. And just say as well, if you sign up to the wait list, there's no obligation to sign up to the course. So don't feel like you have to sign up because you've signed up to the wait list. But I would be honoured to have you there. I would love to have you there. I know it's going to be very powerful, very transformational. So I am sending you so much love, wishing you a gorgeous rest of your Friday. I will send the email in a moment, which will have your visualization for today. And keep an eye on the Facebook group over the weekend for those interviews with some gorgeous, fabulous self-healer women to tell you a little bit about their journey, their experience, and what they've discovered. Both very different experiences, very different backgrounds. Oh, I'm so pleased you enjoyed it. Honestly, I have loved sharing this week with you. Like I say, still so much more to come. We've got the interviews, we've got the live Q&A, and we've got the prize draw coming up next week. So, Christine, will this course apply to general health or just for perimenopause and menopause? So, the course itself is labelled as a perimenopause-menopause course. However, this strategy will rebalance your body, whether you're going through perimenopause or menopause, or neither. And even the final section where we look at hormones will be helpful for anyone that has not as yet gone into perimenopause, or if you're the other side of menopause and no longer experiencing symptoms. There is still huge benefits. Like I say, this is the strategy I come back to anytime I find that I'm experiencing any kind of imbalance in my body. So, yes. Sending you so much love. Have a gorgeous weekend. I look forward to seeing you Monday in here for our live Q&A together. And I think that's it. Any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I will see you soon. Take care.